Cheryl Ladd entered one of television's most successful productions at a moment when it desperately needed saving. Yet the reality she encountered behind the scenes nearly broke her in ways the public never saw. What appeared to be a golden opportunity from the outside became an emotionally draining experience that pushed her to her limits. Even after many decades have passed, she has never re-established contact with her former co-star Kate Jackson, maintaining a distance that speaks volumes about what truly happened. The disagreement between them was never just a simple clash of personalities. It carried a depth and personal weight that few people at the time could fully understand. Long before she became a recognizable name in households across the country, Cheryl's path to success was anything but easy or predictable. She did not grow up surrounded by fame, nor did she benefit from immediate success or industry connections. Instead, her early career began in music, not acting, which often surprises those who only know her from television. In the early 1970s, she provided the singing voice for Melody in the animated series Josie and the Pussycats. While the work helped her pay her bills and stay afloat, it lacked the glamour and recognition typically associated with show business. It was steady, but far from a kind of breakthrough she had been hoping for. For years, Cheryl struggled to find her footing in Hollywood. She took on guest roles wherever she could, appeared in smaller productions, and accepted nearly any opportunity that allowed her to keep pursuing her dream. The entertainment industry proved to be relentless and unforgiving, often making her feel as though time was slipping away faster than she could keep up. Despite having clear talent and a look that fit the industry's expectations, she found herself repeatedly missing out on the one opportunity that could change everything. Those close to her later revealed that she had come dangerously close to giving up entirely, convinced that her moment might never arrive. Then, unexpectedly, her phone rang with an offer that would alter the course of her life. The call came from the producers of Charlie's Angels, a show that had already captured the attention of millions and become a cultural phenomenon. However, despite its success, the series was facing serious problems behind the scenes. Farrah Fawcett, who had quickly risen to become the breakout star and a beloved figure often referred to as America's sweetheart, decided to leave the show after just one season. Her departure sent shockwaves through the production team, leaving them scrambling to find a solution. Replacing someone with such widespread popularity seemed almost impossible, yet the show's future depended on it. Cheryl was chosen to step into that difficult position, a decision that came with enormous pressure. She was tasked with winning over an audience that was still deeply attached to Farrah, while also proving that the show could continue to thrive without its original star. To make matters even more challenging, Cheryl was not cast as a direct replacement, but instead introduced as the younger sister of Farrah's character. This creative choice allowed the story to maintain continuity while offering something new, but it also placed Cheryl in a uniquely delicate position. From the moment her casting was announced, the pressure began to mount. Fans were skeptical, unsure whether anyone could fill the void that had been left behind. The media closely monitored her every move, often questioning whether she was the right choice. On set, the reception was equally mixed. While some welcomed her, others were far less enthusiastic. Despite all of this, Cheryl handled herself with remarkable composure. She remained polite during interviews, consistently arrived prepared, and delivered her performances with professionalism and care. Over time, audiences slowly began to accept her, and the show continued to perform well in ratings. Yet behind this outward success, Cheryl was facing a much more difficult reality. The emotional strain she carried remained hidden from public view. Each smile she offered masked a deeper sense of unease, and every scene she filmed required her to push through feelings of isolation. While gaining acceptance from viewers was one challenge, finding her place among her co-stars proved to be even more difficult. From the very beginning, there was a noticeable shift in the atmosphere on set. The absence of Farrah had created a gap that could not easily be filled, and Cheryl often felt as though she was being judged simply for stepping into that space. The tension she encountered was not loud or openly confrontational at first. Instead, it was quiet, persistent, and impossible to ignore. It revealed itself through subtle actions, brief glances, the absence of warmth, and moments when colleagues would pass her without acknowledgement. Cheryl later described those early days as feeling less like joining a supportive group and more like navigating an environment where every step had to be taken carefully. One of her co-stars, who had been part of the original trio, seemed particularly distant, adding to the sense that she did not fully belong. As time went on, even the crew began to notice the uneasy atmosphere. Conversations with Cheryl were often short and formal, lacking the friendliness she had hoped for. During breaks, while others gathered together, she frequently found herself alone, focusing on her script. Some believed this behavior was simply the result of working on a high-pressure show, but others sensed something deeper at play. There was an unspoken resistance to accepting her as part of the team, a divide that seemed to grow stronger with each passing day. Despite these challenges, Cheryl remained determined not to let the negativity define her experience. She continued to approach her work with dedication, learning her lines thoroughly and staying late when needed. She treated everyone with kindness, hoping that her efforts might eventually change the atmosphere around her. For Cheryl, the situation was never about competition or proving herself superior. She simply wanted to contribute meaningfully and be accepted as part of the show's success. However, one person in particular remained unwilling to welcome her. As the weeks passed, the emotional weight of the situation became increasingly difficult to bear. The long hours, the lack of connection, and the constant feeling of being seen as nothing more than a replacement began to take their toll. What started as subtle tension gradually intensified, building toward something far more serious. At the center of this growing conflict was Kate Jackson. Known as the more serious and grounded member of the group, Kate had played a significant role in shaping the show and held considerable influence behind the scenes. With that influence came strong opinions and a clear sense of how she believed the show should evolve. When Cheryl joined the cast, Kate did not hide her dissatisfaction. Reports from those who worked on the set suggested that she openly questioned Cheryl's casting and even referred to her in dismissive terms, describing her as just another blonde Barbie doll. These comments were deeply hurtful, especially coming from someone in such a prominent position. Over time, the friction between the two women became a topic of discussion among industry insiders. The issue went beyond simple personality differences. Kate reportedly felt that the show was losing its depth and becoming more focused on appearance than substance. In her view, Cheryl's casting symbolized this shift. Whether that perception was accurate or not, it created a barrier between them that continued to grow. The hostility between them often appeared in subtle ways. During rehearsals, Cheryl's input was frequently ignored or dismissed. At table readings, there were moments when Kate would avoid even looking in her direction. The atmosphere became increasingly tense, with one crew member describing it as cold enough to feel physically uncomfortable. Despite all of this, Cheryl chose to remain professional, believing that her work should speak for itself. Jacqueline Smith, the third member of the trio, often found herself caught between the two, maintaining relationships with both while being unable to ignore the tension that filled the room. Eventually, Cheryl stopped trying to build a connection with Kate, choosing instead to focus on her responsibilities. However, the underlying resentment did not disappear. The situation reached a breaking point during the production of an episode that required extensive rehearsals. After multiple script revisions, Cheryl was given a more central role with additional lines, offering her a chance to prove her abilities. While she saw this as an opportunity, Kate reportedly viewed it as a threat. According to those present, she reacted with anger, believing that the changes shifted attention away from her. When the final script was distributed, Kate's frustration reportedly became visible, and she left the set in anger. Shortly afterward, she confronted Cheryl privately in a dressing room. What was said remains unknown, but witnesses reported raised voices and a door slamming. When Cheryl emerged, she was visibly shaken, with signs that she had been crying. She did not return to filming that day, marking a rare and significant moment in her career. Following this incident, the production faced serious challenges. Efforts were made to resolve the conflict, but Cheryl chose not to engage further. From that point on, she limited her interactions with Kate strictly to professional necessities. The tension on set became impossible to ignore, affecting not only the cast, but also the overall atmosphere. Rather than addressing the situation publicly, Cheryl made a deliberate decision to remain silent. She continued to perform her role with professionalism while setting clear personal boundaries. She avoided situations that would require unnecessary interaction with Kate and gradually distanced herself from events and gatherings where tensions might resurface. Over the years, fans began to notice signs that something was wrong. Subtle differences in body language and interactions on screen led to speculation. In later interviews, Cheryl confirmed this distance in the simplest way possible. When asked if she remained in contact with her former co-stars, she spoke warmly about Jack and Smith, but gave a firm and unmistakable no when asked about Kate Jackson. While Cheryl chose quiet distance, Kate adopted her own form of silence, rarely discussing the show or the conflict. Despite various explanations and speculation, the relationship between them was never repaired. As time passed, Cheryl built a successful and fulfilling life, continuing her career while maintaining her personal values. In the end, her actions sent a powerful message. She demonstrated that maintaining one's peace and setting boundaries can sometimes be more important than reconciliation. Rather than revisiting painful experiences, she chose to move forward, leaving the past behind. Her story serves as a reminder that not every conflict needs resolution, and sometimes the healthiest choice is to walk away and never look back.